What if Tapu Koko was in Gen 1 OU? Now this should be fun. I'm going to be doing a 4-part series going over all 4 of the Tapus. And not gonna lie, I think there is a over 1% chance that they can be good and underused. Maybe even good in OU. It's going to be hard to tell. I'm going to have to look at all 4 of them thoroughly. But I am kind of under the impression that they will be Pokemon with good stats and good moves. Kind of like this guy here, which, just looking at the stats. Oh boy. You know how Weavile felt when, it, didn't really have, the best move pool it could have wanted. And it also had to deal with the Qianpao, which was basically just Mega Weavile. Yeah, this is what Jolteon's going to have to deal with. Jolteon's going to have to deal with a Pokemon that is just it, but better. Because what's Jolteon's main gimmick? 130 base speed. But what do you know? Tapu Koko also has that. It has lower special, but it has higher attack, and actually just, pretty sure it's just higher everything. Let's see here. Jolteon. So you have, oh yeah, it's worse than I thought. I mean, look at that. Base 65 attack and HP? Yeah, that's a little bit better. Same with Tapu Koko's defense. And sure, Jolteon has, higher special attack. But 95 is good for Gen 1 standards. That is Jinx's special. Not to mention, outside of just, freaking double kick as your only good coverage option. And even then, calling it good, there's a big asterisk with that. Tapu Koko just has action moves it could be using. Now, I guess we can talk about the typing, because for the most part for Gen 1, this might as well just be a pure electric type. Because the fairy type adds no defensive or offensive merit whatsoever. There are no dragons, fighting types, or dark types in the tier, so even if I gave it fairy options, it would not be able to use those moves. Or it could, but... Or actually... For Tapu Koko exactly, maybe it can use Fairy Stab. And that's because, from what I've heard, whenever you put fairy moves into the physical, or before the physical special split, out of custom games, I heard that fairy moves are physical. So if fairy moves are physical, okay, yeah, then Tapu Koko would absolutely love to use a physical Moonblast. That just sounds really stupid. But it wouldn't have that. I didn't give him any fairy moves. And defensively, there's only Dragon Rage, which is a set move, so you have no dragon immunity. And, spoiler alert, the tier is not scared of Machamp's submission or low kick, so your fairy resistance isn't really that good either. So, yeah, and even the poison, weakness doesn't matter because there's only Sludge, and nothing in Gen 1 OU uses it. And no Steel types either. So yeah, just literally nothing, the fairy type adds. And I probably won't repeat this for the other ones either. For the other 2, or the other 3 Tapu videos that I do, just remember that, alright? Just remember that the fairy type is basically nothing. So these guys are just, basically just one elemental type. Which means this guy's basically a pure electric. Which is really good. Maybe for other electric types, it's a bit of a struggle. But Tapu Koko has the perfect moves and stats to where it honestly would rather be a pure electric type over anything else. I think if Tapu Koko had the choice to become a electric flying type, I actually think it wouldn't, use it. I think pure electric is a lot better for it. Sort of like how Magnezone would be a better pure electric type rather than electric steel. But why is that? Well, it most has to do with the moves and its speed. Base 130 speed means that, unlike other electric types like Magneton or Electabuzz, stuff like that, Tapu Koko can actually outspeed every single row of an Earthquake user. Or actually, no, it just flat out outspeeds all of them. Which, as you can imagine, is pretty handy. And it becomes especially useful with Reflect. I think overnight, Tapu Koko becomes the best Reflect user in the entire game. Not only is getting rid of your one weakness, Earthquake, a big deal, and that's essentially what you're doing, but also in general, just being able to easily soak up, like on normal moves, with that pretty good, for the time, base 85 defense and 70 HP. Yeah, that's really great, especially when you're so fast, because obviously as an electric type, it has Thunder Wave, so you can pretty much just do what Jolteon does, but better, because you're tankier, you can paralyze everything. You obviously have Thunderbolt in order to damage it, but I've decided that all 4 of these Tapus will also get their signature moves, which means Nature's Madness, which always does equal to the user's current HP. So you know how Eradicate, a phenomenally, for the most part, bad Pokemon, is, has some sort of a niche, because in Gen 1, it is the only Pokemon with Super Fang. Yeah, now we have, a good Pokemon that does that. So imagine a Jolteon. It could pretty much get rid of its Earthquake weakness. It can paralyze you. And then, regardless of what Pokemon is out on the field, doesn't matter if it's a Ghost type, or a Rock type, or a Psychic type, it can always deal half of your HP. Yeah, that alone is broken. But now with 130 speed, your Thunderbolts have an insane chance to crit. And not to mention, with that high attack, you also have Hyper Beam as well. So, you seriously suffer from 4 move swat syndrome. But, yeah, this thing is just absolutely insane. Good chance you can even just remove Reflect and just go for an offense thing, which just you can go with just pure offense, which is Thunderbolt, Hyper Beam, Nature's Madness. Instead of Reflect, use Thunder Wave, which, yeah, you lose your Earthquake weakness, but also, to be fair, you're faster than Tauros anyways, and you're losing the Rhydon anyways, so I could see this being good. You just have options. You only really have 5 moves you can really use, because you have Light Screen, but I think you either threaten the special Pokemon with super effective Thunderbolt anyways, mainly talking about Starmie and Swabro. You just threaten Paralysis or just strong physical moves for, Alakazam. And Executor you just struggle with no matter what. There's no getting around that. So, overall, I thought Tapu Koko was going to be good, but I think Tapu Koko is the first electric type I've gone over that I genuinely believe has a chance of surpassing Zapdos. Because I've gone over electric types in the past, and even Regieleki, a insanely fast Pokemon with Explosion and over a 30% chance to crit, even that I don't think was enough to be better than Zapdos. But Tapu Koko here, I think is. It just doesn't have any weaknesses, really. Anything it could want, it does have. I can't even think of any way to really improve it. The only way you can make it better is if you gave it, Blizzard or something, or Surf. Which obviously wouldn't make sense. Or actually, Tapu Koko does live in the Alola region. I think logically, literally every single Pokemon should know Surf. But that's a discussion for another day. I think Tapu Koko will be fantastic. Let's look at the replays, shall we? Now always, we gotta start off with the boy himself, Tauros. And Reflect makes this matchup a lot better for you. Granted, it is a Tauros, so not only can it still paralyze you, but crits can still happen. So you're never fully safe. Things can always go wrong. But it's nice to see how much damage you can do to it. Both with Nature's Madness and Thunderbolt. Also, overnight, Thunderbolt becomes the most spammable move in the entire game. But not Thunderbolt, I actually mean Nature's Madness. Now, Snorlax, physical Snorlax, you just absolutely destroy, but Amnesia Wax is a lot more annoying. It's not unwinnable if you have Hyper Beam, but even then, it can still go very wrong for you. Snorlax can hit decently hard, and it can always rest up the damage. But again, it's just Amnesia Wax you really struggle with. I would still put this matchup, it could go either way, but when are you actually gonna, like, deal with, like, Amnesia Wax? I guess it would become more popular. Maybe? But even then, even with Tapu Koko in the game, I would imagine the other Snorlax variants are still better. But even with those physical ones, like, obviously self-destruct can still be very dangerous. And if Snorlax paralyzes you with Body Slam, that's very annoying. Now, Chansey, this match, it's good no matter what. But a lot of that really depends on if you have Thunderbolt or not. Granted, like, always being faster than Chansey, being able to just consistently do half of its health is, as you can imagine, very good. It makes the bulkiest Pokemon in the tier a lot easier to take care of. And Hyper Beam, it does a lot of damage. So in all honesty, I probably messed up by, using so much Nature's Madness. One is probably good enough, but I didn't do multiple of these replays, so I do not know if the damage range is consistent. Maybe it's just a 3 KO. I'd have to check again later, or someone else can just, like, let me know in the comments. I'm not sure where I would rank the Chansey matchup without Hyper Beam, though. Because it's still nice that you can do half of Chansey's health, just to completely take away it. But you don't really have a way to finish it off. But Reflect is still really good. Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard. You guys let me know what you think. I'm still gonna put it in good, because I feel like Hyper Beam on Tapu Koko, even if it's just for Chansey alone, it's worth using. And it's not just Chansey too. Obviously, against other Pokemon like, Alakazam, Hyper Beam is still incredibly useful. So I guess in reality, even though Reflect is interesting, and it does give you a better matchup against Tauros, it does mean that you don't do as good against, like here, Alakazam. So I guess it's kind of like Mewtwo in Gen 1, where it can either have Thunderbolt or Ice Beam, depending on if you would rather take out Exeggutor or Slowbro. I guess that's going to be the same thing here for Tapu Koko. You're either going to have Reflect, so you can beat Tauros and Snorlax, or you can have Hyper Beam for Chansey and Alakazam. I don't think one is particularly better than the other. They both seem like pretty good. The only thing that's constant is always struggling with Exeggutor, but obviously you do significantly worse with Hyper Beam. But even with Hyper Beam, you only really can win if you wake up from being asleep and also getting a crit, which might happen, like it happens here, but I wouldn't really rely on it, not at all. And with Jinx is a weird one, actually. Because if Jinx is, again, pretty good special for the time, 95, how do you threaten it? Just with a critical Hyper Beam exactly. So the Jinx can just survive your hits and just put you to sleep. And I think the Jinx would definitely not mind risking, risking itself being crit in order to potentially put Tapu Koko asleep. Because Tapu Koko would be a monster in Gen 1. And I think, even if the Jinx doesn't do anything else, I think putting just the Tapu Koko to sleep is a very good trade for the opponent. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. And then right on. I think this matchup is funny, because with Nature's Madness, you could pretty much just make the Rhydon capable of being revenge code by pretty much anything. So this is obviously a unwinnable matchup, but it's almost like it's unwinnable. But as Rhydon finishes up Tapu Koko and thinks that it's, like the greatest thing in the world, Tapu Koko put like one of those signs that said "kick me" behind Rhydon, so then it just gets revenge killed. But that's always what I'm imagining. Maybe I'm just weird. But the point is that Tapu Koko just makes the Rhydon able to be revenge killed, which I think is funny. Just like the Starmie matchup. Like, holy crap. I don't think I've ever seen Starmie suffer this hard before in one of these videos. But here we go. It's struggling to even get a hit in. Oh, wait. It didn't even bother to get a hit in. It just died. Sucks to suck, nerd. Tapu Koko is literally just a better Jolteon. Which, poor Jolteon, man. He's already suffered enough. But last but not least, or actually no, second to last actually, we have Zapdos. Now this is one of those matchups where maybe it's good to have rest. It's just like with the Jolteon versus Zapdos matchup, rest is pretty handy. So I'm not really sure. I don't think it's worth it too much, because I just don't think you're going to have these two fight each other that much in the first place. But even then, Zapdos got lucky here with Tapu Koko getting crit. So, Tapu Koko should usually have a lot more HP than it does here. And last but not least, you guys might not realize it, but Tapu Koko indirectly buffs the Psychic type. Can you guess why? I've already brought his name up a few times now, but it's with our pal Jolteon. Because that Fairy type means it resists Pin Missile. And even with the crit, it doesn't do much to Tapu Koko. Very sad. But, it's just Pin Missile. And now the Psychic types don't have to worry about anything. No weaknesses whatsoever. So yes, because of Tapu Koko in the game and Pin Missile getting nerfed, Psychic does outclass Normal for the best type in the game. I know, I was shocked too. But anyways, here's the tier list. Maybe some of these should be rearranged. Like maybe Chansey should go and could go either way. Maybe Gengar should be there too. But I feel like if Gengar is, even if it doesn't do anything else, if it just paralyzes the Gengar, that Gengar's basically dead anyways. So Tapu Koko, I think I think all these are fine. Actually, this Alakazam should probably go in good. Because yes, it can crit and it can lower special. But I feel like the Tapu Koko, with it being faster and having a way to hurt Alakazam physically, I feel like it's most of the time going to win the matchup anyways. But you guys can let me know what you think. Do you think Tapu Koko would be good? Do you think it would be better than Zapdos? Because that's probably the main question on everyone's mind. Because obviously, both Tapu Koko and Zapdos have a lot to offer. So which one would you prefer? Do you think Tapu Koko would be better? Or do you think Zapdos would still remain the best electric type? And how do you think the other Tapus are gonna do? And also, you could probably see it in the bottom. But if Jolteon wasn't underused, do you think they would consider looking at Lapras again? If so, how do you think that would go? I think there's a lot of stuff to really consider for this one, and this should give you guys a lot to talk about. So I look forward to reading your comments. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, this is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.